ferocious Pidgey and Spearow. Oh. Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon X, let's go Pikachu, and let's go Eevee. The older it gets, the longer it grows. At night, it wraps its long body around tree branches to rest. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver, it always hides in grass. When first born, it has no poison, so its bite is painful but harmless. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Ekans curls itself up in a spiral while it rests, assuming this position allows it to quickly respond to a threat from any direction with a glare from its upraised head. Arbok, 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 Arbok. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Pokemon Leaf Green. It is rumored that the ferocious warning markings on its belly differ from area to area. Pokemon Yellow, let's go Pikachu, and let's go Eevee. The frightening patterns on its belly have been studied. 6 variations have been confirmed. Pokemon Gold and Heart Gold, transfixing prey with a face-like pattern on its belly. It binds and poisons the frightened victim. Pokemon Crystal and Pokemon Y. To intimidate foes, it spreads its chest wide and makes eerie sounds by expelling air from its mouth. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. This Pokemon is terrifically strong in order to constrict things with its body. It can even flatten steel oil drums. Once Arbok wraps its body around its foe, escaping its crunching embrace is impossible. Pokemon Ultra Sun. The latest research has determined that there are over 20 possible arrangements of the patterns on its stomach. Nidoran. Female. Pokemon Red, Blue, Leaf Green, and Pokemon X. Although small, its venomous barbs render this Pokemon dangerous. The female has smaller horns. Pokemon Gold and Heart Gold. The poison hidden in its small horn is extremely potent. Even a tiny scratch can have fatal results. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. Although not very combative, it will torment its foes with poison spikes if it is threatened in any way. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Nidoran has barbs that secrete a powerful poison. They are thought to have developed as protection for this small-bodied Pokemon. When enraged, it releases a horrible toxin from its horn. Pokemon Sword. Females are more sensitive to smells than males. While foraging, they'll use their whiskers triggers to check wind direction and stay downwind of predators. Pokemon Shield. It uses its hard incisor teeth to crush and eat berries. The tip of a female Nidoran's horn is a bit more rounded than the tip of a male's horn. Nidorina. Pokemon Yellow, let's go Pikachu, and let's go Eevee. When resting deep in its burrow, its thorns always retract. This is proof that it is relaxed. Pokemon Gold, Heart Gold, and Pokemon Y. When feeding its young, it first chews and tenderizes the food, then spits it out for the offspring. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. When Nidorina are with their friends or family, they keep their barbs tucked away to prevent hurting each other. This Pokemon appears to become nervous if separated from the others. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Black and White 2, Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. When it senses danger, it raises all the barbs on its body. These barbs grow slower than Nidorino's. Pokemon Sword. The horn on its head has atrophied. It's thought that this happens so Nidorina's children won't get poked while their mother is feeding them. Nidoran, male. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Pokemon Leaf Green. Stiffens its ears to sense danger. The larger its horns, the more powerful its secreted venom. Pokemon Crystal. It constantly moves its large ears in many directions in order to detect danger right away. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Nidoran has developed muscles for moving its ears, thanks to them. The ears can be freely moved in any direction. Even the slightest sound does not escape this Pokemon's notice. Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Y. Its large ears are flapped like wings when it is listening to distant sounds. It extends toxic barbs when angered. Pokemon Shield. Small but brave. This Pokemon will hold its ground and even risk its life in battle to protect the female it's friendly with. Nidorino. Pokemon Yellow, let's go Pikachu, and let's go Eevee. Its horns contain venom. If they are stabbed into an enemy, the impact makes the poison leak out. Pokemon Fire Red. It is easily angered by swinging its well-developed horn wildly. It can even punch through diamond. Pokemon Sword. With a horn that's harder than diamond, this Pokemon goes around shattering boulders as it searches for a moon. Pokemon Shield. It's nervous and quick to act aggressively. The potency of its poison increases along with the level of adrenaline present in its body. Zubat. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Zubat remains quietly unmoving in a dark spot during the bright daylight hours. It does so because prolonged exposure to the sun causes its body to become slightly burned. Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Y. It has no eyes. Instead, it relies on its ultrasonic cries for echolocation to flit about in darkness. Pokemon Moon. When exposed to sunlight, they suffer burns. The frequency of their ultrasonic waves can differ slightly from colony to colony. Pokemon Shield. Zubat live in caves down where the sun's light won't reach. In the morning, they gather together to keep each other warm as they sleep. Pokemon Legends Arceus. It makes its home in gloomy caves. Atrophied eyes have left this Pokemon blind, so it scans its surroundings via sound waves that it emits from its mouth as it flies. Golbat. Pokemon Red, Blue, Leaf Green, and Pokemon X. Once it strikes, it will not stop draining energy from the victim, even if it gets too heavy to fly. Pokemon Gold and Heart Gold. However hard its victim's hide may be, it punctures with sharp fangs and gorges itself with blood. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. It can drink more than 10 ounces of blood at once. If it has too much, it gets heavy and flies clumsily. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Golbat bites down on prey with its 4 fangs and drinks the victim's blood. It becomes active on inky, dark, moonless nights, flying around to attack people and Pokemon. Pokemon Diamond and Brilliant Diamond. It loves the blood of humans and Pokemon. It flies around at night in search of neck veins. Pokemon Moon. Sometimes they drink so much blood they can't fly anymore. Then they fall to the ground and become food for other Pokemon. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Every once in a while you'll see a Golbat that's missing some fangs. This happens when hunger drives it to try biting a steel-type Pokemon. Pokemon Sword. It loves to drink other creatures' blood. It's said that if it finds others of its kind going hungry, it sometimes shares the blood it's gathered. Grimer. Pokemon Red, Blue, Leaf Green, and Pokemon Y. Appears in filthy areas, thrives by sucking up polluted sludge that is pumped out of factories. Pokemon Gold and Heart Gold. As it moves, it loses bits of its body from which new Grimer emerge. This worsens the stench around it. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. Wherever Grimer has has passed, so many germs are left behind that no plants will ever grow again. Pokemon Crystal and Pokemon Violet. When two of these Pokemon's bodies are combined together, new poisons are created. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Grimer's sludgy and rubbery body can be forced through any opening, however small it may be. This Pokemon enters sewer pipes to drink filthy wastewater. Pokemon Moon. It was born from sludge, transformed by exposure to X-rays from the moon. When its internal load of germs decreases, it dies. Pokemon Ultra Sun. It was born from sludge on the ocean floor. In a sterile environment, the germs within its body can't multiply, and it dies. Pokemon Ultra Moon. The wastewater coming from factories is clean these days, so Grimer have nothing to eat. They're said to be on the verge of extinction. Muck, 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 muck. Pokemon Yellow, let's go Pikachu, and let's go Eevee. Smells so awful, it can cause fainting. Through degeneration, it lost its sense of smell. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. Its body is made of a powerful poison. Touching it accidentally will cause a fever that requires bed rest. Pokemon Crystal. As it moves, a very strong poison leaks from it, making the ground there barren for 3 years. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. This Pokemon's favorite food is anything that is repugnantly filthy. In dirty towns where people think nothing of throwing away litter on the streets, muck are certain to gather. Pokemon Emerald. It prefers warm and humid habitats. In the summertime, the toxic substances in its body intensify, making muck reek like putrid kitchen garbage. Pokemon Moon. After recent environmental improvements, this Pokemon is now hardly seen at all. People speculate that it may go extinct at some point. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Their food sources have decreased, and their numbers have declined sharply. Sludge ponds are being built to prevent their extinction. Koffing. Koffing. Pokemon Yellow, let's go Pikachu, and let's go Eevee. In hot places, its internal gases could expand and explode without any warning. Be very careful. Pokemon Gold, Fire Gold, Heart Gold, and Pokemon X. Its thin, filmy body is filled with gases that cause constant snivels, coughs, and teary eyes. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Koffing embodies toxic substances. It mixes the toxins with raw garbage to set off a chemical reaction that results in a terribly powerful poison gas. The higher the temperature, the more gas is concocted. swirling inside. It blows up at the slightest stimulation. Pokemon Sword. Its body is full of poisonous gas. It floats into garbage dumps, seeking out the fumes of raw, rotting trash. Weezing. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Pokemon Leaf Green. Where two kinds of poison gases meet, two Koffings can fuse into a Weezing over many years. Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. Top grade perfume is made using its internal poison gases by diluting them to the highest level. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Weezing loves the gases given off by rotted kitchen garbage. This Pokemon will find a dirty, unkempt house and make it its home at night. When the people in the house are asleep, it will go through the trash. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Weezing alternately shrinks and inflates its twin bodies to mix together toxic gases inside. The more the gases are mixed, the more powerful the toxins become. The Pokemon also becomes more putrid. Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Y. Very rarely, a sudden mutation can result in two small Koffing twins becoming conjoined as a Weezing. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Black and White, Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. It grows by feeding on gases released by garbage. Though very rare, triplets have been found. Pokemon Shield. It can't suck in air quite as well as a Galarian Weezing, but the toxin it creates are more potent than those of its counterpart. Crobat. Pokemon Silver, Fire Red, and Pokemon Soul Silver. The development of wings on its leg enables it to fly fast, but also makes it tough to stop and rest. Pokemon Crystal. As a result of its pursuit of faster, yet more silent flight, a new set of wings grew on its hind legs. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. If this Pokemon is flying by fluttering, only a pair of wings on either the forelegs or hind legs, it's proof that Crobat has been flying a long distance. It switches the wings it uses if it is tired. Pokemon Platinum and Pokemon Black and White. The transformation of its legs into wings made it better at flying, but more clumsy at walking. Pokemon Sun. Both its legs became wings, and as a result, it can't move well on the ground. All it can do is crawl around. Pokemon Ultra Moon. It feeds on the blood of living people and Pokemon. If it can't drink any blood for even a short while, it becomes weak and unable to fly. Pokemon Shield. This Pokemon flaps its four wings skillfully. Crobat can fly through cramped the most confined caves without losing any speed. Hisuian Sneasel, Pokemon Legends Arceus. This Pokemon shares roots with the Sneasel of Hisui, but unlike that species, this one is spiteful in personality. I hypothesize that water and earth can affect Sneasel's mind and body. Gulpin. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Virtually all of Gulpin's body is its stomach. As a result, it can swallow something its own size. This Pokemon's stomach contains a special fluid that digests anything. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Most of Gulpin's body is made up of its stomach. Its heart and brain are very small in comparison. This Pokemon's stomach contains special enzymes that dissolve anything. Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Scarlet. There is nothing its stomach can't digest. While it is digesting, vile, overpowering gases are expelled. Pokemon Emerald. This Pokemon's stomach fluid can even digest scrap iron in one gulp. It can swallow something that is as large as itself. Swalot. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. When Swalot spots prey, it spurts out a hideously toxic fluid from its pores and sprays the target. Once the prey has weakened, this Pokemon gulps it down whole with its cavernous mouth. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Swalot has no teeth. So what? It eats, it swallows whole. No matter what, its cavernous mouth yawns widely. An automobile tire could easily fit inside this Pokemon's mouth. Pokemon Emerald. Its powerful stomach acid is capable of digesting almost anything. The one thing in the whole world a Swalot can't digest is its own stomach. Seviper. Pokemon Ruby and Omega Ruby. Seviper shares a generations-long feud with Zangoose. The scars on its body are evidence of vicious battles. This Pokemon attacks using its sword-edged tail. Pokemon Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire. Seviper's sword-like tail serves two purposes. It slashes foes and douses them with secreted poison. This Pokemon will not give up its long-running blood feud with Zangoose. Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Pokemon Scarlet. It sharpens its sword-like tail on hard rocks. It hides in tall grass and strikes unwary prey with venomous fangs. Croagunk, 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 Croagunk. Pokemon Pearl from its finger, albeit poisonous, is a significant ingredient in remedies for lower back pain. Pokemon Shield. Once diluted, its poison becomes medicinal. This Pokemon came into popularity after a pharmaceutical company chose it as a mascot. Pokemon Legends Arceus, a poison wielder with a dastardly personality. Despite such qualities, this species is afforded a measure of popularity due to its peculiar cry and comical features. Trubbish. Pokemon Black, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Inhaling the gas they belch will make you sleep for a week. They prefer unsanitary places. Pokemon White, Pokemon X, and Pokemon Omega Ruby. The combination of garbage bags and industrial waste caused the chemical reaction that created this Pokemon. Pokemon Black and White too. Wanting more garbage, they follow people who litter. They always belch poison gas. Pokemon Moon. It gorges on trash until its stomach is full. Then it belches toxic gas. An unlucky whiff of gas will put a person in the hospital. Pokemon Sun. Unsanitary places are what they like best. They can be spotted in Alola, often with Grimer in hot pursuit. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Poison gas leaks out of it when it breathes. Muck that catch a whiff of that stench will come drooling. Pokemon Ultra Moon. If a young Pokemon or child breathes in the toxic gas that Trubbish belches out, it could be a life-threatening situation. Pokemon Sword. Its favorite places are unsanitary ones. If you leave trash lying around, you could even find one of these Pokemon living in your room. Garbodor. Pokemon Black, Pokemon X, and Pokemon Ruby. It clenches opponents with its left arm and finishes them off with foul-smelling poison gas belched from its mouth. Pokemon White. They absorb garbage and make it part of their bodies. They shoot a poisonous liquid from their right hand fingertips. Pokemon Black and White 2, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Consuming garbage makes new kinds of poison gases and liquids inside their bodies. Pokemon Sun. Beware the poisonous liquid it shoots from its right arm. If even a little of it gets on you, you'll experience the effects of the unidentified toxin. Pokemon Moon. For a time, their numbers increased explosively in Alola. Since the arrival of Grimer, their population has decreased dramatically. Pokemon Ultra Sun. It locks opponents in place with its left hand, immobilizing them by entirely dousing their bodies with poisonous liquid. Pokemon Ultra Moon. Some say the reason Garbodor. In Alola, stronger than their counterparts elsewhere is the presence of muck, their natural enemy. Pokemon Sword. This Pokemon eats trash, which turns into poison inside its body. The main component of the poison depends on what sort of trash was eaten. Gigantamax, Garbodor. Pokemon Sword. Due to Gigantamax energy, this Pokemon's toxic gas has become much thicker, congealing into masses shaped like discarded toys. Pokemon Shield. It sprays toxic gas from its mouth and fingers. If the gas engulfs you, the toxins will seep in all the way down to your bones. Nihiligo. Pokemon Moon. One of the Ultra Beasts. It's unclear whether or not this Pokemon is sentient, but sometimes it can be observed behaving like a young girl. Pokemon Ultra Sun. A life form from another world. It was dubbed a UB and is thought to produce a strong neurotoxin. Pokemon Ultra Moon. It appeared in this world from an ultra wormhole. Nihiligo appears to be a parasite that lives by feeding on people and Pokemon. Pokemon Ultra Moon. An Ultra Beast that lives in a different world. It cackles wildly as it sprays its opponents with poison from the needles on its head. Sneasler. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Because of Sneasler's virulent poison and daunting physical prowess, no other species could hope to best it on the frozen highlands. Preferring solitude, this species does not form packs. Shroodle. Pokemon Scarlet. Though usually a mellow Pokemon, it will sink its sharp, poison-soaked front teeth into any that anger it, causing paralysis in the object of its ire. Eye. Pokemon Scarlet. The color of the poisonous saliva depends on what the Pokemon eats. Eye covers its fingers in its saliva and draws patterns on trees in forests. Glimmet. Pokemon Scarlet. It absorbs nutrients from cave walls. The petals it wears are made of crystallized poison. Pokemon Violet. Glimmet's toxic mineral crystals look just like flower petals. This Pokemon scatters poisonous powder like pollen to protect itself. Glimmora. Pokemon Violet. Glimmora's petals are made of crystallized poison energy. It has recently become evident that these petals resemble Terra Jewels. Okie dokie. Pokemon Scarlet. After all its muscles were stimulated by the toxic chain around its neck, Okidogi transformed and gained a powerful physique. Pokemon Violet. Okidogi is is a ruffian with a short temper. It can pulverize anything by swinging around the chain on its neck. This concludes our poison Pokemon entry readings. But before I leave you alone, I have a question. Which poison Pokemon would you want to keep you company, even if you know they are toxic? I think I would choose Gulpin, because I think Gulpin is very adorable, and I actually like using him in my Pokemon team, and I wouldn't mind if he evolved into Swalot, because I also used him in my Pokemon team, but I would prefer Gulpin, and I just like the fact he can eat anything. I, for one, also feel like I can eat almost anything. I just really like eating, so I feel like we would get along. And I think the thing I learned most about poison types in general is that the ones that can make their own poison really like garbage, and I feel like a mobile and portable Pokemon buddy that can eat garbage would be really nice to have. And I could just, give him all my garbage conveniently to my Golpin, and they would be able to dispose of it. Very eco-friendly. And again, we can go on so many food trips. So yeah, out of all the poison types, I feel like I could get along with Gulpin the most. Let me know which one of the poison types you would like to have as a toxic